Hey, hello friends. Thank you for joining me again today. I am about to start a new painting and I hope a new series of paintings. I'm more excited about this series than I've been for a long time. This concept has been gelling, percolating on a back burner for years actually. I did one painting of traffic about 3 or 4 years ago and fairly large like this, and it sold fairly quickly at Nicole's studio. And so I'm anxious to get going on some more. So here's how this has happened. I'm sitting in traffic very often, a stoplight, well, because I don't usually take pictures while I'm driving. And hello, David. Good to see you again, my friend. I caught up with some of your old comments on Facebook that I had missed, some from months ago. I'm so sorry, my favorite Quebecer there. And Mark Toomey, good to have you there down under. So I'm painting traffic. I'm sitting in a stoplight, like most people, rather irritated, wishing I wasn't stuck in traffic, just kind of maybe scanning the radio dial, all the stuff that we all do in traffic. And but every once in a while, my eyes will open up and I'll look at what I'm seeing outside the windshield and go, this is gorgeous. This is beautiful. So I started taking pictures maybe about a year ago or so. And let me show you some of them. I've taken well over 100 pictures. And in the last couple days, I've reduced those 100 down to 6 of my favorites. I think these will all turn into paintings eventually. There's one. There's another. I hope you... Sorry for all the reflection. There's another and another with a couple school buses. And I'm not going to do any of those today. I've narrowed it down to 2. Now, this one... It's not exactly traffic, it's a parking lot. So the cars are parked, but it's still, in my mind, the same cars going or driving, either one. And then this one. You'll notice there's quite a few wet streets, wet pavement. Not all of them, but several of them are wet pavement. Several of them are a sun. Okay, yeah, it's probably because I'm moving back and forth, David. I'm thinking, I hope that's it. Some of them are when the sun is low in the sky and we have a nice warm yellow-orange glow hitting everything. That would be the case with this one. Well, actually, this is a rainy day and the sun was low both. Anyway, so I hope to do all of these eventually and perhaps many more. Of course, I'm hoping these are marketable. I'm hoping other people will be as crazy as I am and want to buy paintings of traffic. Okay, let me be serious for just a minute. Honestly, this is part of the reason why I'm excited about doing this. As I said, every once in a while, I'll be sitting in traffic and suddenly I'll have an epiphany. Suddenly I'll have a revelation. And instead of looking out the windshield with my typical grumpy judging, and I'm using that word the way a lot of people who are into meditation, the judging mind. I sit there with my typical adult judging grumpy mind, but every once in a while the child, the authentic mind will come up and wipe and pull the curtains back, and the authentic child mind goes, oh, this is beautiful. And I'm going to get even more maudlin and serious here in a minute. This kind of thing I preach to myself. We're sitting in traffic, all irritated and grumpy. Why? Because we want to be somewhere else. We want to be moving. We're in a hurry to get to a meeting or to get home or get to a restaurant, whatever. We're in a hurry. We don't like sitting there, blah, blah, blah. We're all grumpy, right? I'm guilty as anybody else. Although I'm hoping to be better. I'm hoping this series of paintings will make me better. When the day comes that we are in fact lying in our deathbed, barely hanging on to consciousness and barely hanging on to life. And forgive me, I know this sounds a bit maudlin, but I'm serious. We would give anything at that moment to be sitting stuck in traffic. We will. When we think of all the moments that we spent stuck in traffic and we were grumpy, and we were wasting life. I'm sounding like a preacher now, forgive me. But we were wasting our precious life being irritated when we should have just been in ecstasy. If your eyes are working, which hopefully if you're driving, your eyes are working fairly well, Your eyes are working, your ears are working, your soul is working, you're thinking, absorbing all these different sights and sounds. If we had a 2-year-old in the seat next to us, he or she would be completely content, goo goo gaga, looking at sights and sounds, loving reflections, loving movement. Anyway, so I really have perhaps a absurd hope, but a hope nonetheless, that by painting traffic, I'll help me to be a better person. Because next time I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to say, no, wait a minute, practice what I preach here. More than that, I hope that other people will start saying, when they see my paintings of traffic that are hopefully going to be gorgeous, beautiful paintings, that the next time, I'll say the next time you're stuck in traffic, maybe the memory of one of my paintings will go, wait a minute, Dan Nelson said this is beautiful. And maybe the authentic child mind in you will get up and elbow the grumpy adult judging mind out of the way so you can sit there and enjoy your life. How about that? Well, that got pretty deep, didn't it? Let's get on to painting then. Now, I don't know which of these I'm going to do. I'm saving this for on camera. I like them both. Very intuitive. Very intuitive. Do I feel like doing this one? I'm feeling this one. Okay, done. I'm going to do this photograph, this painting, this scene. Okay, can you see that there? Yeah, you still can. Now let me tell you a little bit where I want to go with this. I want these paintings, especially the automobiles. This is pretty important to me. This is part of what's exciting me about this subject matter. If you go to my website, you find a whole section of you can find a whole section of automotive painting. So I love painting cars, super realistic, tight, detailed, realistic cars. So there's a little bit of that in here. This is going to be an excuse to paint cars. So I want the cars to be very accurate. At the same time, I want these paintings to be not photographic. I want them to be very loose. I want them to have lots of abstract energy and yet be very accurate. Weird? Yeah. So let's get started. This is a cool scene, very cool scene. The sky is typically a typical photograph, horrible, washed out white. That won't do. It's got to be some color. But this roof is definitely green. These trees are definitely green, and these cars are definitely cool color. So it's a cool painting, but with very important warm light highlights there in the middle. Okay. I think the composition is, as it is okay. Ironically, the literal horizon is right in the middle. That's usually a bad thing. Let me bring this up to you again. Usually, horizon right in the middle, but we've talked before about there's the literal horizon. The literal horizon is eye level at 16.3 miles away, where if there was no trees, hills, mountains, buildings, or anything in front of you, in other words, if you're standing on a Kansas prairie, or if you're standing at the ocean, that line, that's the literal horizon. But in paintings, there are often visual horizons, which doesn't have, so in here, the literal horizon is right smack dab through the middle of the painting. But there's no, except for maybe the bottom of these canopies over here, umbrellas, there's no line there at all. Oh, the ladder on top of the van is there, but that's coincidental. There's a strong line here and a very strong, I think the strongest line right there, and another one here. And none of those are right in the middle. So I think I don't need to worry about horizon. The photograph is okay. I don't need to modify it in this case. I'm trying to decide now what color to do my initial trying to decide what color to do my initial abstracts in, what colors, as you know. And because this is a fairly large canvas, I think I've got some rags over here sitting in water, so they're dripping wet. I'm going to paint with rags because I can make larger marks more quickly. I definitely want some red up here because of green roof and green trees. So the opposite of red, green is red. Down here, there's a lot of cool blue. So I probably want orange stuff down here. Anybody who's new to watching me, this what I'm saying right now is completely a befuddlement to you. So what is he talking about? Well, you're about to see in just a minute. I've enjoyed doing big curves lately. I don't know if you've noticed. I think it's a new trend. Instead of so many straight lines, I've enjoyed doing these big curvy shapes in my initial abstract. And also, I'm finding that I really very often, that's enough of the rags. Let's go to a brush for a minute. I'm very often liking some really bright yellow in my initial abstract. Okay, so again, if you're new to me, right here, everything I just did is like crazy. What is he doing? If you're one of my regulars, then you know exactly what I'm doing. I'll try to describe it very quickly. And I've been doing this, I don't know, about 2 years, I guess. I consider it one of the fairly recent developments in my painting journey. I'm always evolving. I hope you are too. I'm always growing. I'm always changing. And I'm always experimenting. And experiments mean you try something and you may say, it didn't work. I might never do that again. Or you might try it for a while. But this is one of the things I've been doing for a while that has been, generally speaking, working for me. And it is a abstract, and by the way, part of my goal here, I'll adjust this slightly so you can see the whole canvas. Part of my goal here is to create a beautiful abstract painting. Now, it's not very developed, it's not very intricate, but it's beautiful. Beautiful shapes, beautiful colors, and so forth. So that's very important. If you try this with me, your initial abstract is supposed to be an attractive one. One of the mistakes that I find students doing often when they're painting loose is they don't go all the way to the edges. They'll kind of do something in the middle. Well, first of all, that motion that I just made right there is not going to create an attractive mark. This is brushy, brushy. You're doing this kind of motion because that's how your hand is made. Your hand is made to do that kind of motion, but you don't follow the mechanics of your arm. You have to paint in a attractive manner. Okay, enough of that. Let me then, so it's a beautiful abstract painting that is unrelated to the subject matter, except that it's the opposite of the subject matter. In other words, like I don't want a line going like here because it's too close to this line, and so on. I don't want a vertical line here because it would be too close to the edge. So it's opposite of the final painting in color and in shape. Now, I'm going to start doing some drawing. I used to, when I was doing this abstract, I used to start in a color similar, like in this case, I used to draw in red and orange. But I've discovered that when I do that, I tend to lose the abstract painting too quickly. So I've changed my, this is a very important line right here. So I've changed my modus operandi a little bit. And now I typically do what I'm doing now, which is draw in a contrasting color, contrasting to the abstract marks that I just made. So I'm using here at the moment phthalo blue. Let me say also that part of me would almost rather wait for the abstract to dry completely, so that it's stable and it's there and I can't mess it up. But that impulse, that desire, is mitigated by the desire to paint quickly and finish a painting So in other words, I'm in too much of a hurry to wait for that to dry. So I typically don't these days. I do not wait for that to dry. Okay, one modification already, changing my mind on that angle right there. Yeah. So part of what you're watching right now, and I love these long brushes for this kind of thing, by the way. I'm using the handles to get the angles right. Part of what you're watching right now is the realistic, accurate rendering side of the equation. I said a few minutes ago, I want these paintings to be quite accurate, very accurate. So when it comes to painting these cars, I want it to be, in a sense, like figure painting cars, as if they were human beings. When you paint human beings in a painting and you want them to be accurate, I'm calling that figure painting. So I want it to be very accurate. And again, if you follow me often, you've heard me say this so many times, but there might be somebody watching for a first time here. I'm putting down these lines, as you can tell. Good, lots of comments. Hey, lost you, but I hope I came back, David. That's right, David. I have a lot of friends who keep me humble or remind me frequently how humble I am being. Thank you. And someone asked, will I be trying the Cape Cod again? And the answer, I'm pretty sure the answer to that is I am going to retain elements of the Cape Cod mindset, the Cape Cod strategy. By no means, it was a fun experiment, and I actually liked the two paintings that I did, but I